Well, 2020 has pretty much come to a close. I might sound like a broken record and I say this every single year, but this has been a crazy year for sneakers. I've been doing this countdown list for a couple years now, and I mean it when I say this is probably the toughest year so far that I've had in choosing my top sneaker list. There's been so many major storylines in sneakers this year. For example, the resurgence of the Nike Dunk with both regular Nike sportswear dunks and Nike SB. We also had a massive rise in popularity with New Balance, and as always, Jordan Brand had another massive year also. It seemed like week after week there was another hot release sneaker, and collabs were happening all over the place across all the major brands. So I didn't actually put a number to it. Honestly, I was a bit scared to see how many shoes I bought this year, but no doubt this has been the most I've ever bought in a single year in my entire life. Of course, it's impossible for me to keep every single pair I review, so a lot of pairs have come and gone through my hands, but this list today is strictly for pairs that I've kept. So again, I just want to stress this is my personal opinion. There's obviously no right or wrong, and I'm hoping you guys disagree with my list so we can have some open dialogue. And again, like I said from the start, there was probably legitimately around 40 pairs that I whittled down my list to, and any of those 40 could have made this top 20 list. So it was a really tough decision, but enough talk, let's kick off the list with number 20. So at number 20, we have the Union Air Jordan 4 in the Off-Noir colorway. So yes, I'm definitely guilty. The Union Jordan 4 was definitely a shoe I was hating on when I first saw the pictures. But if you saw my review, I mentioned how when I found out that the tongue could be unstitched, that completely changed the look of the shoe, and as a result, it completely changed my opinion. I know the shoe is still pretty controversial. There's still a lot of people that really love it, but at the same time, there's still a lot of people that really hate it. However, this got the sneaker community talking, and it's a pair that I really changed my opinion on the more and more I saw it. Moving on to number 19 on my list, we have the Salehe Bembury collaboration with New Balance on the 2002 R. 2020 has been an amazing year for New Balance, with so many releases, not only just collabs, but GRs as well. In my opinion though, this collaboration with Salehe Bembury was an absolute masterpiece. To some people, this design can be really jarring, but I was a fan of this shoe from the beginning. But I love not only the theming of the shoe, but the silhouette is amazing too. If you guys haven't tried the 2002 R, I would highly recommend it. It comes in at a much lower price point than their typical made in USA pairs, and the comfort is really, really good. So all in all, this is a really dope pair and one that I was really happy to add to the collection. Next up on the list at number 18, we have the Nike SB Dunk Low in the SASHKO colorway. Safe to say it's been an amazing year for Nike Dunks, especially Nike SB Dunks. With so many super hype collab releases, this one kind of slid under the radar, and while it's not necessarily on many people's top list of the year, to me this is one that I just really loved. I love the uniqueness of the look, the materials, and the patterns, and I think the colorway itself is very classy, very beautiful, and it's very wearable too. So if you guys are looking for a high quality SB Dunk Low, look no further than these guys. Moving down the list to number 17, we have another Nike SB release, this one being the Civilist SB Dunk Low. So this pair was just out of this world. If you guys don't know, it reacts to heat, so let me try to activate the color. I guess it's pretty cold in my house right now and it's not changing, but this pair does reveal this heat map graphic when you heat up the shoe. The execution on this pair was just absolutely insane, and it was such a unique and dope concept that you'd come to expect from Nike SB. Honestly, I can't wait till summer when it's warmer outside so I could rock these with the full thermal print on my feet. Moving on to number 16, we have the Atlas Nike SB Dunk High in the Lost at Sea colorway. Of all the SB releases this year, this one probably has the best story and theming of them all. It's based off the Great Spill, where tons of crates of Nike shoes were lost at sea, eventually made their way on the shore, of course arriving water damaged and sun dried. So the fact that Nike SB and Atlas were able to create this amazing shoe based off of this incident from years back and make it genuinely feel like this is one of those shoes that washed up ashore is just simply incredible. We all know how vintage looking sneakers are these days, and I think this is a pair that actually really does it right. Next up on my list at number 15, we have the Nike Air Max 1 in the London colorway. So while 2020 has been heavily dominated by dunks, let's not forget the Air Maxes too. This brand new colorway released alongside the Amsterdam pair as well, and while they dropped way back earlier on in the year, this has always been one of the contenders for top shoes of the year for me. The quality on these Londons are absolutely amazing, and while it's not the loudest or flashiest shoe out there, it gives me everything I want from the Air Max 1, meaning a high quality build, a good variety of materials, and a great shape. In my opinion, this is going to be a future classic down the road for all Air Max fans, and it's definitely a pair I'm glad I didn't sleep on. Moving on to number 14, we have the Nike Air Max 3 or Air Max 90 in the original infrared colorway. I can't stress this enough, the infrared Air Max 90 is one of the most iconic Nike shoes of all time, period. And if you're even remotely a fan of Air Maxes, this is probably a must cop for you. In fact, I even doubled up on this pair. The team at Nike that worked on this shoe did an amazing job. They recrafted the shoe to make it look closer to the OGs, and not only is it visually an improvement from past retros, but whatever they did to the midsole, these guys are super comfy as well. So all in all, this was an easy inclusion in my top 20 list. Moving on to number 13, we have the JOUND collaboration with New Balance on the 992 in this green colorway. If you think of New Balance in 2020, most likely you think of the 992. This super dad shoe looking model has had a huge boom in 2020 with a ton of collabs and also a ton of Heat GR releases too. So in this collaboration with Montreal-based studio JOUND, they released 2 colorways, but this green one was easily my favorite. This pair personifies what makes New Balance so good. Yes, it's a bit understated, and yes, it's like a dad shoe, but the comfort on the 992 is great. The material quality is really solid as well, and it's just one of those pairs that if you know, you know. I personally don't own too many green shoes in my collection, let alone green colored New Balances, so this was a great add to my collection. Moving down the list to number 12, we have the Sean Wotherspoon Atmos and Asics Gel-Lyte 3. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the Gel-Lyte 3 model, and we've seen a ton of amazing releases coming out from the Japanese brand. There's been so many tough releases and it was tough for me to narrow it down, but this Sean Wotherspoon collab to me at least takes the cake. As we've come to expect with Sean Wotherspoon, this shoe is constructed using this amazing corduroy material, and the shoes are done in this mismatching fashion, creating a very unique and very loud out there look. I'll admit I'm not really the biggest Asics guy, but this year definitely opened my eyes to the quality and comfort that Asics can provide, and this release was a really fun and a really solid addition to the collection. Moving on to number 11, we have the Off-White Air Jordan 5 in the original black colorway. I'm not sure, was it Complex that said this was their shoe of the year? But I know this pair's ranked super high in a lot of people's lists. To me, this is a great release, no doubt, and it's very worthy of number 11. I just couldn't justify it making my top 10. Still, Virgil Abloh did an amazing job really adding that signature Off-White DIY and deconstructed aesthetic. I honestly think it's one of the more successful Off-White takes on a Nike shoe. This black pair is definitely going to be the more wearable of the two, and the fact that they've already pre-yellowed the soles, I guess you can say it's a good and bad thing, but to me it gets me past the biggest hurdle of rocking my Jordan 5s, which is just being overly cautious and being worried about the icy soles. So now we're finally halfway through and we've landed at our top 10. Taking its spot at number 10, we have the Nike SB Dunk Low and the CHCAGO JPACK colorway. Technically, this was a GR SB Dunk, and no, this wasn't an actual collab with anyone, but this colorway was a pair that pretty much every Dunk fan wanted. Inspired by the look of the CHCAGO Air Jordan 1, despite its very modest retail price, the resale prices on this pair just shot through the roof. And because my favorite colorway of the Jordan 1 is the CHCAGO pair, this was a dunk I really wanted. So safe to say when I landed this pair, I was not disappointed. The quality was a lot better than I expected for a GR, and the colorway in person is just as beautiful as in the pictures. This is definitely a future classic, and it's a pair that I'm going to hold on to for a long time. And it's a great alternative if I don't feel like rocking the Jordan 1 necessarily, while still giving off the Jordan vibes. Moving on to number 9, we have the Kith Nike Air Force 1 in the Japan colorway. This pair was released in celebration of Kith opening up their boutique in Japan. And this pair is just super dope, it's super clean, and the quality is definitely on point too. If you're to ask me, I feel like after the dunk craze has passed, the Air Force 1 might be up next. And if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people start calling these a grail in a few months or years down the road. Next up on my list at number 8, we have the Air Jordan 4 in the Fire Red colorway. This has been a big year for Jordan 4 fans, and the re-release of this original Fire Red colorway is so important because of this right here. This marks the first time we've had the Fire Red 4 Retro with the Nike Air branding on the back, and if you're an Air Jordan purist, you know just how important this is. So while the craftsmanship on this pair was a bit inconsistent, I was pretty lucky that my pair was pretty solid, and anytime an original Air Jordan 4 colorway releases true to OG form, you can pretty much bet that it's going to be a must cop for me. This is just one of those shoes that has a ton of historical significance, and the Mars Blackman version was one of my first Jordan pickups when I first started buying shoes, which made this release extra special. Moving down my list to number 7, we have the second colorway of the Union Jordan 4 release, this time in the Guava Ice colorway. So this pair pretty much echoes the same sentiments I had with the Off-Noir colorway at number 20, but I gotta say the Guava colorway I liked a lot more even from the beginning than the Off-Noirs. So this one is the Union exclusive colorway, and if you guys didn't go through that release on Union's website, honestly it was a really easy checkout for most people, and they released a ton of pairs and blocked out pretty much a lot of the bots. As for the shoe itself, I love the tones that they used, and I personally find that the lighter tones work much better with this vintage looking midsole and outsole. Moving on to number 6, we have the Air Jordan 1 in the dark mocha colorway. To a lot of people, this is one of their shoes of the year, and I can really see why. Not only is it drawing a lot of comparisons to the Travis Scott Jordan ones, but if you disregard that whole comparison, this shoe by itself is just very clean. You don't really see too much brown on Air Jordans, but it really works on this pair. And I love its classiness, I love the versatility, and the fact that you can really dress it up or dress it down. To me, it's no surprise why these are so highly sought after, and the resale prices on this pair kind of reflect that. So now we've reached my top 5 sneaker pickups of the year. And taking that 5th spot, we have the Travis Scott Nike SB Dunk Low. If you're looking for one of the major reasons why Nike SB has seen a resurgence, look no further than this guy. Honestly, it seems at times that Travis Scott has pretty much single-handedly brought back the dunk hype, and by releasing his own version of the SB Dunk Low, he pretty much cemented that status for today's generation. This release had people going crazy for it, and it's such a unique look that's really true to Travis Scott's style. If and when the dunk hype slows down, I'm very curious to see how the resale prices on this pair will be. As for now though, they're still sky high, but whether it stays or it drops, honestly, it's still a really dope looking shoe, one again that's very unique, and a pair I definitely love to rock. Coming in at number 4, we have the Off-White Air Jordan 5 in the Sail colorway. This might be a bit of a controversial pick. I feel like most people like the black one over these guys, but in general, I prefer lighter colored sneakers over darker ones, and I love how this one reminds me of the OG Fire Red 5s, but of course given the Off-White Virgil Abloh treatment. I'll admit when I first got this pair in hand, the yellowness of the upper kind of surprised me, but I won't lie, you get used to it and it definitely grows on you. Once I got past that, I could really appreciate the design and the colorway of this shoe, and I can just see myself rocking this one a lot more than the black one. Next up, kicking off our top 3, at number 3, we have the Ben & Jerry's SB Dunk Low in the Chunky Dunky colorway. This is one of the most hyped releases of the year, and the hype was everywhere from sneaker blogs to resellers to actual dunk fans. It seemed like everyone wanted their hands on this pair. I'll admit the quality is a bit lacking on this one, but the design and the execution was amazing. When you look at this, you really see the Ben & Jerry's theming, and it kind of takes me back to the golden age of Nike SB Dunks. Honestly, I don't really care too much about the resale value. I already wore these a couple of times, and this is just one of those super loud, super unique designs. I kind of look at this as a piece of art on feet. Moving on to our first runner-up, the number 2 spot, we have the Strangelove Nike SB Dunk Low. This Strangelove dunk is my dunk of the year. And I know it felt like these dropped so long ago, but these were dropped in time for Valentine's Day. And it's crazy to think that though I paid resale price for this pair, when you compare it to how much it's fetching now, it's honestly an absolute bargain. I think this release checks all the boxes I'm looking for a dunk. It has a very strong theme to it, has a uniqueness that makes it stand out, and the material quality is definitely on point also. I get that this shoe isn't going to be for everyone. Not everyone can pull off pink and red, but in my humble opinion, this is definitely a masterpiece of a dunk, and all its qualities beats out the hype that the Travis dunk and the Chunky Dunky dunk has. And now we're left with one final shoe, and you guys probably can guess what it is. My number 1 sneaker pickup of 2020 goes to the Off-White Air Jordan 4 Sail. This women's release honestly was a bit of a pain in the ass to get for guys, but kudos to Jordan Brand and Off-White for making such an incredible women's drop. This debut Off-White take on the Air Jordan 4 to me is just simply amazing. I love how they opted for this pretty much all sail colorway, which really allows the design and the look of the shoe to shine. To me, it strikes that good balance between that DIY deconstructed look while still really retaining the heart and soul of the Jordan 4. This pair really checks a lot of the boxes that I'm looking for. The material quality is excellent, the craftsmanship is really good, it's something unique we've never seen before, and the colorway itself makes it very wearable too. I'll be honest with you guys, when I picked this up earlier on in the year, I pretty much knew right away that this is going to be at least a contender, if not the shoe of the year for me. The only thing I'm waiting for at this point is for Jordan Brand and Off-White to release more colorways of the Off-White 4. So there you have it. There is my top 20 sneaker pickups of 2020. Like I said from the start, this was a very tough decision to make. I had so many incredible, super dope pickups in the year, and to whittle down all of that to 20 pairs was super tough. Like I did last year, I asked you guys to rank my pickups. I think this is the first time that your vote matches mine. We both had the Sail Off-White 4 as number 1, and then after that there were a lot of differences. Most notably, you guys had the Mocha ones as number 2, the Travis Scott Dunks at number 3, and the Strangeloves at number 4. And then the rest of the shoes were just all over the place, which kind of shows you just how many dope releases there were in 2020. So as always, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about my list. What are the shoes that you agree with? What are the shoes that you disagree with? And what are some of the shoes that I reviewed that you would have liked to see on my list instead? Personally, I'm super stoked and super excited for 2021. With just how big sneaker culture has come in the past few years, I can only hope for bigger and better things from the major brands next year. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a follow on Instagram at SGO8, check out my Twitter at Sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. And before I close this video, I just want to use this time to give you guys a huge thank you for all your support and love this year. I've seen a ton of growth this year in viewership and subscribers, and as I'm filming this right now, I'm just under 90,000 subs. Fingers crossed, with your love and support, I'll be able to pass that 100K mark next year, and I'm very excited to give you guys more dope content in the following months and years to come. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again for an incredible year, and I'll catch you guys all on the other side.